Ooh,
Spooky.
we're telling spooky stories.
Yes, we are.
Hi,
Hey
everybody.
guys,
Yes, Haley. Yes. You
I'm
go.
Hayley,
And I'm Sam.
and this is the plus size section.
And we're telling spooky stories. And not spooky stories we found online, our spooky stories.
Yes, I'm telling my whole life story because it's truly spooky.
No. No. Oh my god. Whew. I wasn't prepared for
Ooh,
that, to be honest.
good. Never let them know your next move, y'all.
Yes. Haley's going first too, because I went first last time. So it's Haley's turn to tell you guys spooky stories.
I got pissy for a second, and then I realized that I suggested that, and that was a whiplash of a mood swing. Oh man, so my spooky stories. So I will start with mine. I do have one that my dad told me that he experienced, but I'm doing mine first. I feel like most of mine have been very short stories, like spooky little happenings. Um, there there was an occasion. This was back in like 2020, I think. This was whenever I was heavy into witch talk, maybe like early 2021. But I was walking through our apartment. Uh, my husband was asleep. It was late. I was walking through the living room, and I felt something like touch my finger. Like it felt like just like a finger touched my finger, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I was just walking normally. I obviously was like kind of freaked out. Didn't see any shadow figures that time. Nothing else like happened like that again or since. And it was just like it was so random. It was so weird. I have seen shadow figures in my apartment a few times. Like out of the corner of my eye, like something will move, but then when I turn to look, it's not there. I've never seen like a full on figure like in front of my face, like it's seeing me see it. Like that's never happened.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. We're telling spooky stories, sorry guys, because it's spooky season. It's September, which means it's spooky season. That's why this episode's happening. We forgot to mention that.
Yes. We're not perfect. Ooh.
Ooh. Are we even here? Who knows? We're specters.
Specters.
Specters. That's a
Okay.
ghost. That's a specter.
Ooh. Okay. I'm just a hooligan. That was so corny.
I love it. I love it. Bring all the
But
corn. I'm into it.
it's corn. All right. My meds are wearing off. So
Okay.
my last personal spooky story happened in the car actually. I just been to Petco, bought cat food. I put everything in the back seat, and just for context, like my car is pretty small, so I put everything like on the seat itself, and like the bags were tied like it was very secure. I get in the car and I'm just sitting there on my phone, of course, because after I leave a store, I have to sit there for like 42 hours and recenter and check my phone and all that shit.
Right. Dangerous,
So
but yes.
yes, very dangerous. You can tell I've never lived in a big city in my life,
Right.
but I was on my phone and I heard like the bag moving. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought maybe it was falling at first, but it was like intentional movements. Like it sounded like something was like batting at the bag, and my cat obviously wasn't with me. And it happened a few times, and I was just like, I just decided to speak to it, and I was like, quit doing that. And it stopped. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, was that like a little cat spirit that came through and wanted to play or something?
Cute. Wouldn't that be
Right?
cute?
Right. I don't want to invite all the cat spirits into my house, but I just love cats so much.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, that's my last story. So like most of mine have just been like little quirky happenings. Even though I grew up in a very old farmhouse, nothing aside from like some random creaking on the stairs ever happened. It makes me wonder, because like I believe in that kind of thing, and like I know some of your personal stories, which I don't know which ones they are, like if they're in this list or not, but like I believe that stuff happens. So I don't know, maybe I just can't see it. Maybe I can just hear things, and if it's like if something does reach out and touch me, it's like they're basically like screaming at me for me to see it, but I don't know. But my dad, he told me this story, and it was back whenever he was like a lot younger. He was at work, and he worked at this very large chemical plant. So like very sprawling, like lots of parking lot, lots of room to walk between like buildings and shit. And he was coming from like the break room or something and going back to another building. And there was this like crowd of people, like just like people crowded around like in an open space, but like you couldn't see what was going on in the center of it. And one of his coworkers was standing, just kind of like standing there by himself, and he was like, hey, like I think the dude's name was Mike. He was like, hey, like what's going on? And he didn't say anything. And he asked him like again, and he just the guy wasn't speaking and was just kind of like would look at him and then like look at the group. And I think my dad like got exasperated and was just like, okay, whatever, and went over to the group, and it was that guy. He'd had a heart attack and he died. And he was like laying there. Like I know that sounds crazy, but like my dad he's a deeply religious man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make some shit like that up, like just for the
Right.
walls.
I love it.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm like, where's my capabilities?
Well, you can always invite them in if you want. Like you can always like that's something I know. Not to creep you out, but like something that I tell my like clients, like when they're like getting into their spirituality and they're trying to like connect with their spirit guides, I'm always like say out loud that you are open and ready for your spirit guides to start giving you physical signs. So you allow them to touch you, you allow them to talk to you, like kind of like invite that in.
Right. Like consent, yeah.
Like can give them that consent, right? So if you
Yeah.
want, you can always be like, yo, spirit world, I'm ready. But then when it happens, don't be like a Zach Bagans or Baggins or whatever and be like, have you ever seen Ghost Adventures?
Nope.
Oh my god. Okay, Hayley, this show is like ancient. There's like 11 seasons, I think, or 13 seasons.
Oh my god.
It's this it's in a world where no fancy camera crews are following us around. Like,
oh my god.
This is our religion. We watch it every Saturday, okay, just to make fun of it. All we do is Brian gets trashed and we laugh at these grown adults that are ghost hunters, and they go out, right? And they go to these spooky locations and they're trying to see if ghosts are there. But then the minute a ghost actually like interacts with them, they're like, oh my god! And they like run. It's so funny. It's so funny because they'll be like, what was that? It's amazing.
Yeah.
So don't be like that. If you open the door, know that spirits will step in. They will come through.
I've definitely thought it in my head before. Like, right. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm ready. Never happened. I think they're like, you're lying.
You're lying.
You know better.
You know better, yeah. Because when it does happen, it is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it still scare you?
Oh,
sometimes?
absolutely. Absolutely. The real, like, it scares me when it's physical.
Hmm.
So, and when it's like, if it's visual, it's not as scary. If it's auditory, it's not scary. But when I can like physically feel like, cause I'll like our guest bedroom, not to freak you out when you stay,
Yeah, I've already slept in there.
that you've already slept in there. Something's up in there. Cause like it was a couple months ago I was sleeping and like I physically felt like hands on me.
Absolutely not.
And I was like, I literally was like, get off me. Like I was like, get off of me right now. Stop it. Because I like to do like astral traveling, so I like to like leave my body. And normally when I do that, it like kind of like can freak you out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in there and I was like sleeping because I snore, so I couldn't go into the main bedroom, so I had to go in the guest bedroom. Because if I go to bed at like 3 a.m., I just sleep in the guest bedroom. I don't want to wake Brian up. He gets up at 5 a.m. So I was in there and I was like trying to go to sleep. And
You're
I
a
just
nice
like,
wife.
thank you. Thank you. I feel all these hands on me and I'm like, get off of me. And I was like, get off of me. Like, I'm a lot calmer now. But when it was happening, I was like, get off me.
Yeah. Maybe the spirit was just like, you're snoring, you're disturbing me too.
Maybe, right? Because we have the good evidence. We have camera evidence of spirits coming in and out of our house. So we know they come in here. We had one, it was like a bubble. And like, it got into the grass and it turned into feet. Sick image.
So wild.
Sick video.
I have a feeling it's because of you and Brian's just like power and capability and stuff, but I feel like you're just very active. Spiritually, you're very active there.
Yeah.
And I know whenever I was there, you said that you can activate other people too.
Yeah.
Which is, you're just like, you're so powerful.
Okay, blush. Blush. We have people that like
say more.
Like stop it, but also my Leo Venus is like purr. Meow, Hayley, meow. Well, you have people that like spiritual coaches that will say they're like soul activators. Like they'll be like, I'm a soul activator, and like I used to be very critical of those people, but now that I've been around a lot of them, and I myself have like awakened a lot of my friends, like just by being an example and being around them and sharing my practice with them, it kind of tends to like they get excited about it and then they start their own awakening journey. I get how that can happen. And I'm always like hee about it, you know, when like because I think I remember you telling me about the finger thing in your apartment. Yeah. And I was like, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I've had other like spiritual things, but they aren't spooky. Like I have tinnitus, and there have been multiple times where it's like I'm just chilling and it's the ringing in my ear is turned way up.
Right.
And then it just backs off. And you were the person that told me like next time that happens, pay attention to what you're thinking or what you're doing, because it's usually like related to that as like a message or something.
Yeah. If you want to seek like a spiritual reasoning, like I don't like to fall into like spiritual psychosis, right? So like mental illness is not spiritual.
That was one of my jars. That happens a lot when we film though. You're activating my jars.
I'm not trying. I promise. But like, you know, when people say like mental illness is spiritual, like I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like people that say like don't take your medication, like take your medication, like if you want to. Like I'm very much like a stay like grounded in like earthly things type of spiritual person, but I just like I don't have tinnitus. My husband doesn't have tinnitus. Like a lot of people I know don't have tinnitus and like or tinnitus. I don't know how you freaking pronounce it. And they hear ringing in their ear all the time. And normally like and I just think that's good advice of being like, hey, like pay attention to what you're doing because it, you know, if you're a spiritual person and you find spiritual meaning, then that could be a message for you, you know?
Right. I definitely don't think that my tinnitus is purely spiritual. I've had it for like 10 years I think it's from listening to music too loud and, you know, going to concerts without earplugs in, not listening to my dad because I was a little metalhead and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, nothing could hurt my ears. I think that's what it is. But it's the fact that it turns way up.
Yeah.
And it's random and it's temporary.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
And I don't get like lightheaded or anything like that. Like it's not anything else physical.
Right.
It's just interesting.
It is interesting. And you're a Pisces moon, so you should be having like really vivid like dreams. I know a lot of Pisces moons have like prophetic dreams. And once they like, that's why I'm like, keep a dream journal because you never like, you know,
I do need to start writing my dreams down. I don't always have them, but yeah. You know something funny? This is random, but like my mom has like an intuition. She has whatever the house placement for Neptune is that is really tied to like being psychic. She has that. And she's always just had that like that gut feeling like she just knows shit. Shit that she should not be like she has no way of knowing otherwise.
Yeah.
But
there's some really cool, like, there's a really cool group of psychics. Sorry, guys, we're getting off topic, but like, this is kind of spooky stuff.
Yeah.
I call them like doomsday devices. They're like, they're psychics that like, they know when something bad's gonna happen. My mom is one of those too. Like, she will like the day that, my sister got arrested, she literally was like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but stop it. And Jess was like, we're just hanging out. Like, we're not doing anything. Like, she just, and like, that's like mother's intuition as well. But I think it, like, she's been able to like know when stuff bad was going to happen. Yeah. And she's just like a little doomsday psychic. She just gets that gut feeling. And she's like, something bad is coming. And I'm like, can you tell me what? Can you pinpoint it for me, ma'am? You know, like, can
like,
I get
have anxiety?
Right. like, don't share. You know what I mean? Like, just let it happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. One of my friends is like that. They knew, when their mother was going to pass away, like all sorts of stuff. They're really psychic, and it's always like bad stuff. It's never
the
like
worst.
It's the worst, but they're little doomsday devices. They just know, you know?
Yeah.
Just tuned into that.
Hard. There's definitely been stuff like, there's definitely been stuff in my relationships, like my romantic relationships, where like I knew shit in my gut, but like I believed the lies and stuff. I was always right.
Yeah, of course.
It was always exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
And when I thought it in hindsight, I'm like, God damn. Like, I should have just listened to my gut.
Trust that gut. Trust that gut. Oh, always trust your gut.
Within reason.
Within reason. Well, yeah, because
like, if you have anxiety, don't trust it all the time.
Well, there was like that video that was going around about that person. They were like, hey, like your intrusive thoughts or your intuition, and so many people stitched it, and it was like, that's not for us, babe. Look at me. That's not for us. Because it's like, no, dude, that is such bad advice. That is terrible advice. Your intrusive thoughts are not your intuition. Intuition tends, like, messages from spirit are neutral, buddy. They don't come with a lot of emotion. It's just like a guiding message from a friend. It is not like, hey, buddy. Yeah. You want to drive off this bridge? Like, that's not your intuition. Get out of my head. That's not your intuition. Yeah. Like, no, that's not. Intuition is like, hey, take the back roads today. There's an accident. Yeah. And you're like, you know what? I randomly took the back roads today. Right. You know?
Just like cancel that trip. Right. Don't get that tattoo.
Right.
That one actually, the don't get the tattoo, that happened to me right before Molly passed away. My former cat. Like, I was supposed to get the tattoo like that Friday, and it was like the Tuesday before. It was just days before, maybe a week before tops, and it was like something just didn't right. I feel like I need to reschedule it. And then it was like the day after I was supposed to get the tattoo, or like just a few days after we had to put her down. Yeah. And it was like, financially, I would have been screwed if I got the tattoo. Right. because of like the emergency vet visit and all of that stuff, you know?
Right. Exactly.
And my husband actually had that same thing happen with us getting that washer and dryer and him not wanting to spend the money and then Apple taking it back.
Right.
Same shit.
Same
That's
stuff.
the kind of thing it is. It's just like that gnawing feeling about it.
Right. And it's just very, like, it tends to be very calm, neutral
Mhm.
advice. Like, you have survivor's instinct, which is a lot different than, like, divine guidance. Divine guidance is 99% of the time, it's so quiet. If you're not
Mhm.
sitting in stillness, you don't hear it.
Right.
And that's why when I have people that are like, oh, I'm like, do you always have the TV on? Are you always on your phone with the TV on? Like, do you meditate with music? Like, it's not gonna come through, bud. Like, because
Yeah.
it's very quiet. Like, you have to sit until you, like, hone it. Like,
Mhm.
you gotta be alone with your thoughts, bud. And it's just, everyone's like, that's the worst. And I'm like, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Like,
I mean, it is.
it's the worst.
It's
true.
I feel like you also have to be in touch with your feelings too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, just very in touch with how your emotions express themselves, because like if someone isn't aware of their own emotions and like all of that, like they wouldn't second guess like not getting a tattoo.
Right.
They'd just be like, I want a tattoo, I'm getting it, and then something bad would happen, they'd be like, fuck.
Right. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Like life
absolutely.
is just constantly shitty
right.
for them.
Right.
But
okay. Do you want to do backseat forces? Do you have another story?
I'm all out, bud. I'm
Oh
tapped.
man. Oh no. Okay. We should have done backseat forces because you didn't have that many.
I told you I didn't.
Okay.
I probably would have forgotten them too if we did backseat forces.
True. Okay. So this is actually this is probably, to me, like, out of all my spooky stories, you may think like this is not a very spooky one, but this is probably the most scared I've been. Like, internally freaked out. As a practitioner of magic and a spiritual person, like, I have dealt with a lot of stuff. I've always been into the spirit world, been a little medium since birth, like, always been surrounded by spirits, not a big deal. So teenage Sam was dropped off her boyfriend at a church for his community service in this, like, sundown town in North Carolina. And her friend were gonna go get high while he cleaned this church. Because that's what we were gonna do that day, right? We were just gonna drive around blazing.
Yeah.
Definitely not an episode for kids, but that's fine. YouTube hates us. It's fine. So
it really does.
It
We did
really-
great for a while, and then we stopped selecting. Like, we start selecting "Don't show it to people under 18," and it's like, fuck you then.
Yeah. So we're driving around. We're like, let's go to, like, let's find somewhere to smoke. Let's go to, like, an abandoned building because we're stupid. So we find this, like, sick looking, like, old ass house. And my friend, she was gonna take pictures. Like, it was gonna be like a whole thing. Like, we were like, ooh, you know. So we pull over. We're so stupid. We pull over, and I'm like looking at the house, and I'm like, damn, like, oh, you know, when you just get that all over body, just like, no vibe. So we're walking, and I look down, and I'm like, dude, there's a dead bird here. And then I hear her being like, Sam, there's dead birds over here. And so we stop, and the entire house is surrounded by dead freaking birds.
I don't know what that means, but absolutely not.
I don't know what that means either, Hayley. You know what I did? I noped fucking out of there. I was like, we fucked up we're cursed now by just stepping on this ground. Because you couldn't see it from the fucking road, and we don't, like, we were smart about it. We didn't we didn't drive into the driveway, right? We parked on the side of the road. So that way if they were like, you're trespassing, we could just, like, run to the car and leave, right? And, like, you never know when you go to abandoned buildings if there's, like, drug users,
They could already be occupied.
Unhoused individuals in there. Like, you never know what's in there, so you always want to, like, play it safe. Or just don't go to abandoned buildings to begin with. Anyways,
Don't trespass.
Don't trespass, kids. So we're like, I just will never forget. Like, I still think about that house, and it's been like 10 years. And I'm like, dude, like, what? And I'm not talking like, oh, a cute little like one bird, two bird. There had to have been like 20 to 30 dead birds just surrounding this house.
That's wild.
It was terrifying. I was like to my core scared. To my
Yeah.
core. I was like, something bad is in this house, like, or something bad happened. And of course, like, we tell my ex, and he's like, probably pesticides, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? Like, what do you mean?
Like
Why would
all
they
around the
kill the
house.
birds? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. It was so scary. It was so scary.
That is scary. Holy shit.
It was so scary. So that's spooky story from me, number 1. This will probably be a shorter episode, everybody. Sorry. Okay, so another experience that we had was when I was younger, and I still have it sometimes on and off, sleep paralysis.
Oh shit.
So sleep paralysis. Do you have sleep paralysis?
Nope, never had it.
Oh my God. So I had it so bad when I was younger, my mom took me to get a sleep study done and a sleep specialist because even though I was not raised religious, which was weird, when this first started happening, so like you can't move your body.
Yeah.
But your brain's awake.
That's okay.
And you can, like, I could open my eyes. So from the neck down, you're paralyzed. Or I was paralyzed, basically. It's very weird. It's like according to my doctor, you get stuck between when you're going into REM.
Okay.
Because when you're in REM sleep, your body is paralyzed.
Yeah.
But so, like, I guess I was having, like, really bad anxiety or whatever. So, like, I was getting stuck in between. And so I was, like, my body would get really hot and I was hearing breathing. And so I was like, this is the devil. Like, because I was really young, guys. I was so young.
Yeah.
And I was like, Satan is trying to get into my body. And I would, like, yell. I would try to scream for my mom, but you can't move your mouth. You can't move.
Oh, wow.
So it's, like, even worse. So this is when I never saw any dark figures or anything like that. It was strictly not being able to move my body and feeling pressure on my chest and, like, hearing breathing in my ears. And it was the doctor that was like, it's your breathing that you're hearing. Like, it's not another entity. It's you. Which is really weird, but
yeah.
Younger Sam, like, you could not tell her that Satan was not trying to get her soul. Like, as
if you've seen a horror movie, I mean, you live in the Bible Belt.
Yes.
Of course that would be the first thought. It wouldn't be like, oh, I'm hearing my own breathing. No, something's trying to get you.
Something's trying to get me, right? And so now I can do that willingly, as I can go into sleep paralysis and then I can have my consciousness leave my body, and that's what, like, astral travel is.
Yeah.
I remember walking around my house the first time I did it, and I was like, all right. All right.
Pretty cool.
All right. And I went right back in my body. I was like, all right, we did it, everybody. And now I'll do it just for fun, but I never, like, Witch Talk made it seem different. I didn't have the same experiences as other witch talkers. Like, I don't go into, like, other dimensions. And,
yeah. That's
know,
honestly
like,
what I thought it was because of Witch Talk.
No. Okay. Not in my experience, personally. But I know other people, like, have done stuff like that, which is really cool. Normally I'm just like, and maybe I'm too, like, grounded personally. Maybe I'm, like, too grounded. So I'm literally just, like, walking around, like, just being like, all right, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I forget where I go and then I wake up.
Huh.
So I must go somewhere, but I don't know where. Which is really cool. but kind of spooky. Because doing astral
It is
traveling
spooky.
is very scary.
Yeah, and I imagine that's like a lot of trust that you're putting in yourself and the universe for it to just like go halfway decent.
Right, yeah, because you have to like be able to like hear yourself breathing and be okay with it. And like when you leave your body, it's like you're constantly reminding yourself that you are breathing. You're like, you're still breathing, it's fine. Because you feel like you've stopped breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird, but it's like, no, like you're still breathing. It's okay. Very weird because you feel yourself start to leave your body. And then like this panic sets in of like, oh shit. And it's like you panic. So you have to be like, no, like stay calm. It's fine. You're breathing. You like feel your chest going in and out, and then you like boop pop out.
Yeah.
We're just going full woo in this episode. We will do another episode of spooky stories that we find online. I just thought it'd be fun for us to introduce spooky season, talk about our own personal spooky stories that we had. Because we're spooky. We've had spooky stuff happen to us.
Yes.
Yes. I've seen a ton of shadow figures, which I am not in the lore that shadow figures are bad figures personally. I think that spirit uses dark matter to manifest because it's like the closest matter to our physical dimension. So I think that that's what they use to try to manifest themselves in your life.
Right.
And I think that's why shadow figures tend to be very close to you because your guides are very close to you. And I think just when we see something dark, we get scared, right?
Yeah.
But dark doesn't mean bad. So,
right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
But I think people...
my husband actually, he sees shadow figures a lot. He said he has for years. He attributes it to past substance experiences.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't there. But it seems, at least to me, my limited knowledge, like, it feels more spiritual and, like, maybe because he's not a spiritual guy in that way, like, I honestly can't tell if he's fucking with me or not, but I'm not sure he believes in aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But
what?
I think he just likes to fuck with me.
No.
And he's very good at it. But like he's not a woo guy at all. So I feel like that's why he thinks that there's like a real word explanation for it. And I'm like, dude, like harness that shit.
Right, but like wait, hold on, pause. He doesn't believe in aliens?
I think he wants to see proof. Which I'm like, I don't know. I believe in aliens. Full force.
I don't know how you wouldn't, right? Like, they're weak.
Usually the people that don't are very religious. So, like, I can understand how they wouldn't want to believe in that. But he's not religious at all.
Right.
So.
I couldn't imagine thinking we were the only intelligent life force in the entire universe.
Intelligent. Yeah, that's... I think that's a stretch, personally.
There's like so many galaxies. Could you imagine thinking?
I think it's more of a proof thing. That's the best I've gotten out of him. But he also is very good at fucking with me in that regard, like saying shit deadpan. But we do this to each other, I think, because we're both neurodivergent. Like we both say shit deadpan, and the other believes it.
Yeah, I'm so gullible like that. I can't, and I hate sarcasm. Like not fun sarcasm. Like fun sarcasm is fine, but like mean sarcasm, I don't like. I think that's like the worst.
Yeah.
So, but I'm that gullible one where someone's like, they'll say something so like deadpan, like you said, and I'm like, what? Yeah. And they're like, are you dumb? And I'm like, are you mean? Like, what do you mean? I'm just believing what you said. Like,
right.
Why? Why would you say it if you don't believe it? You know what I mean? That's so weird to me. Okay. I'm trying to think. So I did have this one experience. I think I've actually shared it on the podcast before. So sorry if this is a repeat story. As you all know, my father is on the other side. He passed away when I was 3. And when I was younger, I want to say like 12 or 13. I can't remember. I'm really bad about like dates and ages and stuff like that. Years. I'm realizing like I'll listen back to our podcast and I'll be like, oh man, I said 2016, I meant 2017 or some shit like that. So just like when I was a preteen, basically. Me and my friend had gotten our very first like witch book. We went to Barnes and Nobles. We got ourselves a Solitary Witch book, which is still in print to this day.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a very popular book. And we brought it home and we were gonna do some spells. And it was like we waited for dark fall. And darkness fell on my home and everyone was in their slumber. And me and my friend were like, here we go. So we got out our book and all of our supplies and we were doing witch shit. Zero idea what we were doing, to be honest. Like just being kids. And my closet door swung open, which normally I would have a hair tie on it because, fun fact, I had a dream that a bear came out. Did I have this dream or did my sister have this dream? Someone had a dream, if it was me or my sister, that was so traumatizing because a bear came out of the closet and ate the family.
Oh my god.
Yes. Just kid stuff. But it traumatized us so bad, we had a hair bow tie to keep the closet door shut. Okay. So, closet door.
It was unlatched.
The closet door swings open. So all you hear is us screaming. This had to be like 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't like at the third hour past midnight. It was like 10:30 maybe.
Still late for screaming.
Still late for screaming, right? So we're screaming. And then my TV, my old school TV, not old school, but like, you know how TVs used to be round?
Yeah. Like boxy?
You know what I mean? Like boxy and round.
Yeah,
like those Barbie TVs, right? You remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Where you could put like a VHS in it. Okay, this is the type of TV I'm talking about, guys. There's no cable on this TV. It's for movies. It's for VHSs. The TV turns on and a blue screen, and all you see is "Stop, Samantha." To this day, I still think it was my dad. My mom has never confessed to messing with me. Okay? My friend's mom used to mess with us all the time. So I've asked her as an adult. I'm like, look at me.
Yeah. What makes you think it was your dad?
Because just like the tone of it, I don't know. Like it just felt very like dad-like. Like my mom never calls me Samantha. No one calls me Samantha. My mom calls me Sammy. Spelled with an I. Put some respect on my name. Not Sammy. Sammi. Everyone in my family calls me Sammy, right?
Okay.
My friends call me Sam, right? That's just the way it works. Brian calls me Sam. If you're using the government name Samantha, then I know, like, you don't really know me that well, right? So, I would assume that he would use that because he's dead, right? Like, I feel like he would use the government name for some reason. So, we're screaming.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Like, it's just funny. Like, well, you passed away, so you don't know me very well.
Yeah, I mean, facts, though. I was looking, there's in your chart, there's a part where your dad lives in your chart, and you can see, like, your relationship with your father. Yeah. And they were like, if you have, like, this sign in your chart, you have an absent dad. I was like, facts, mine fucking bolted out. Like...
Oh my god.
Not out of the home, out of the earthly existence. He was literally like, I'm a head out, guys. Like,
my god.
It's funny. We're close now. I give him cigarettes. He knows I'm a hoot and a holler. But yeah, so we proceed to run out of the room screaming. And I know this happened because one, I asked my friend as an adult, does she remember this? She said yes. I asked my mother if she remembered this happening. She said yes. So I know this isn't my maladaptive daydreaming. That's what it called. So this really did happen, and it really scared us. And I will never forget it because it was one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. And it wasn't the TV, it was the closet.
Yeah.
Just swinging open out of nowhere. And it was like,
right.
And we live in the suburbs. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, this is weird that this is happening.
Right. And
yeah.
then the message combined with that's just too
Yeah.
much. The message by itself would just be like, oh,
Right.
oh,
Like,
you.
oh, you. Well, it was like, you're doing too much with all of
Yeah.
this. Like, and I can't remember to this day, like, what spell we were doing. I don't even think it was, like, that bad of a spell. But also, I do remember being pretty boy crazy and her being pretty boy crazy. So knowing us, we were trying to be, like, Tina Belcher and, like, making our, like, the guys we like us. Like, I don't know what's in that book, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't
Love
even
spells.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, bless.
Aww.
But it was so funny. Excuse me. It was so scary at the time. Now I laugh about it because, you know, I'm a full-fledged, like, witch. So
yeah.
It's even like I have books that are like 10 times worse than that, right? And things that I like, spells that are 10 times worse than whatever spell we were doing.
Oh yeah.
Like, I got the Book of Psalms back there, which is a prayer book, but that book hits, man. You want to mess up your neighbor. It's a crazy book.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, dude, like, and it's like a Christian book, and it's like, you guys know this is witchcraft, right? Like, this is witchcraft.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, so those were my spooky stories. I didn't get permission to share the other two, so next time we will share the other two.
Yeah,
I've had a lot.
Those seem interesting.
Oh, they're so good. They're my experiences, so I feel like I can share them. I just think I can't share all the details about them. So I will wait until I get permission. I have had, like, as a medium, I've had a lot of spirits come to me and, like, share their experiences with me. So, like, one spirit came and, like, shared with me, like, how they passed away. So I felt that. Like, they shared with me, like, the death itself, which was really scary.
Like, you felt how they felt?
I felt how they felt. It was the worst. We've had spirits turn on when we first moved into this house. We had spirits all the time setting off our home alarm.
Yep.
Remember that? And then we would literally call our alarm company and we'd be like, hey, what's going on? They're like, we don't see the alarm going off. And that's when we got a like a little light that they can use to where when they want to speak, because I have office hours, everybody. Spirit does not respect your office hours. Fun fact. So we got a little light that I'm like, guys, stop it with the alarm. Stop it.
Yeah.
Use this light and flash it and I'll talk to you. Like, I'll open up and I'll talk to you. Which has worked so much better than waking up at 3 a.m. because your alarms are going off.
Absolutely.
Thinking someone's...
That's not a viable solution.
It's right. Like,
if that continued, you would disregard it every time, and then something bad could actually be happening.
Right. Like, use something else. So I'm trying to think. I think we have a lot of orbs come in and out, especially when I'm, like, in ceremony.
We've seen at least one while we've been recording.
Yeah.
There was that, it floated from your altar.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, because I film, if you guys don't know, I do film in my sacred space. So I have, like, a wall to ceiling to floor bookshelf that has all my altars on it. I got, 7 altars going on over there, because I have my self-love altar, I have Hecate's altar, I have 3 other altars. I have an altar to Jupiter for money, which I recommend everybody do that. If you're struggling for money right now, get you a blue candle. Oh, here we go. Okay. We'll talk about spooky part is done. Let's talk about witchcraft. Okay. So fun fact, Jupiter is a planet of expansion, as we know, and he's also daddy, right? He's the money man. So Thursdays are Jupiter's day. I do this as many Thursdays as I can remember. You get you a blue candle, you put Jupiter's symbol on it, you light that bad boy, you get you a cup of some wine as an offering to Jupiter, then you make you a little money bowl, okay? You fill this money bowl with coins, rice, money crystals, dollar bills, whatever you want, whatever you need. And then you put either your business card in there, or you put something that connects to you, maybe a paycheck, a pay stub, put it in that bad boy. And then every Thursday, you light cinnamon. I have cinnamon incense that I light. Smells great in here right now.
Ooh.
And if you have my money sigil, Hayley has my money sigil now. I like to charge my money sigil on my money bowl, or I'll put cinnamon on it. When I made the money sigil for people to buy, when I was creating it, I was listening to an abundance playlist, making sure I was in the vibes. The symbol itself on the money sigil, it has Jupiter's symbol in it, and some other symbols. So you just Thursdays are a great day for money magic. And the way to keep that alive is to have a money altar. A lot of people have it by their front door to bring money in. If you can do that, that's great. Just, do some petitioning to Jupiter. He's a good guy. He's a good planetary energy to work with personally. A 10 out of 10 would recommend.
He loves praise, though. I do know that. You gotta thank him.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I think I talk about it so much. I'm like, hey guys, you guys know about Jupiter? everyone's like, praise Jesus. I was like, but have you heard of the other J man?
J Daddy.
J Daddy. Jesus is cool and all, but have you heard of the J Dad? Talking about the big boy himself, everybody.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I charged that sigil today, and I used some Jupiter salt that I had.
Perfect.
And I was like, come on, Jupiter Daddy, come on in.
There you go.
And I put some pyrite on it.
Yes.
Citrine.
Yes.
And I put this crystal point between the two, and I was like, light this up, monetarily speaking.
Here we go. Yes. I would put some coins around it personally. Okay. Add some money to
it in my wallet.
Oh, well, that's fine. If you already charged it, it's fine. But I'm saying, if you had, a money altar, coins are really good.
I do need to make a money altar for sure.
But yeah, I do want to do, coming up, guys, so we're going to do another episode of spooky stories that we find on the internet. I am down to do a Samhain episode, because Hayley knows I'm a big Samhain person. You will not see or hear from me the week of Halloween. That's my new year, okay? That's when I do all my spooky witchy stuff. That's when I go hard on Samhain, the week of Samhain. So I'm down to do an episode about that if you guys want that. I know not all of our listeners are into this shit, and that's fine. This is just something Hayley and I enjoy. But yeah, we can talk about, you know what we could do? We could do an episode, sorry, we're browsing now. I'll do a poll, or a Q&A, and you guys can answer. So we're going to do spooky stories we find online, maybe Samhain, and then maybe, what are the creatures called? Mothman? Cryptids. Yes. Okay, cute. All right, cool. Well, that's it for this episode. That's all I have. I can't share the other two, but if I can, I will next time. I'll ask permission for next time.
Yes, please remember, because I want to hear.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
All right, so All right, fellers, if you want to follow us online, you can follow us at Plus Size Section on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. On TikTok at the Plus Size Section. If you want to send us a spooky story or anything else, you can send it to us at our email at theplussizesection@gmail.com. If you want to give us a little rating and review, we'd really appreciate it. And if you want to share this podcast with your friends, that would also be very cool. And we would appreciate that very much.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yep.
That's it. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.